Hello and welcome to another An Old Man Watches, and today I'm going to be talking about Scooby-Doo from 2002, and hopefully we all know who Scooby-Doo is. The cowardly dog with a serious case of the munchies, who has been an often reluctant mascot slash team member of Teen Sleuths Mystery Incorporated since 1969. It was when the first TV show came out. This film will certainly assume that we all know who these characters are, because it eschews the admittedly overdone origin story plotline to open with a well-established Mystery Inc. solving their latest case. At the end of which, Fred takes all the credit for capturing, Old Man Jenkins, who was pretending to be a monster. Velma, who is the real brains of the operation and tired of being overlooked and having her thunder stolen by Fred, and Daphne, who is tired of being typecast as the monster's captive, both kick up a stink about this and quit the group. Fred, being a bit of a pompous jerk, also quits. Only Shaggy and Scooby stick together because friends don't quit. But, the team is disbanded. Movie over, I guess. Well, no, of course not. 2 years later, all five are summoned to holiday destination Spooky Island to solve a mystery. Only Shaggy and Scooby are pleased to see the others. Velma, Fred and Daphne all assumed that they were the only ones invited because, of course, they are the best detective in the group, and they each attempt to solve the mystery alone. Now, of course, surprise, surprise, sooner or later they're going to end up teaming up to beat the bad guy and rediscovering the power of their friendship along the way. I mean, I bet you're shocked. Totally shocked. So, as I said, first launched in 1969. Scooby-Doo is a long-running franchise, obviously, over 50 years now. 13 animated TV shows, over 40 animated TV movies, multiple comic books, including a post-apocalyptic one that I fully intend to read at some point, and, in the early 2000s, two big-budget live-action features, of which this was the first. So, how is it? What's worth talking about? Well, first of all, the monsters are real. In the classic Scooby-Doo TV series, of course, this was never the case. Whatever the monster, ghostly phantom, undead pirate, glowing Egyptian mummy, it always turned out to be some ordinary person in a rubber mask. In this movie, though, the magical menace, even if it might have a mundane mastermind behind it, is very real. There's demonic possession and other supernatural shenanigans going on. Now, that's not a new twist in Scooby-Doo media. There have been real monsters, not always hostile, but real, in the franchise's animated films since at least the 80s, possibly earlier. I haven't researched extensively, but certainly I'm aware of films from the 80s where there are real monsters. But, for people used to the oldest, most famous version of the franchise, I guess it's a notable twist. Certainly the fact that there are real monsters is a surprise to the characters. So in-universe, in the universe of the live-action show, this live-action movie, the animated films where they encountered real monsters obviously didn't happen. Now, taken in isolation, I'm fine with the change of having real monsters. Some of the animated films that did it were quite good, and the TV series Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which came out about a decade after this film, also did it, and it was excellent. To me, the problem with the twist here is that the script does only the most basic and obvious thing with it, which is it has a scene where all the characters freak out when they realise, oh, there are real monsters! But then after that, they just kind of go back to their formula and resolve it like any of their classic adventures, which is a bit disappointing that, they have this twist and they don't do a lot with it, really. Secondly, Matthew Lillard. I want to talk about Matthew Lillard's performance in this. He's a fine actor, often the best thing about the film that he's in, and capable of giving an entertaining performance even in an Uwe Boll film. He is in an Uwe Boll film. This is not conjecture. He's in The Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. He's fun. Without taking anything away from the rest of the cast in this movie, because they're all perfectly solid in their roles. Like, they're good. They're fine, You wouldn't complain about them. He's still a real standout. He takes the role of Shaggy Rogers and he makes it his own. Quite literally. He's had literally, dozens of credits in the role now. The two live-action performances of this film and its sequel, a movie that I actually like a lot better than this one, to be honest. Plus, he's voiced Shaggy in almost every animated Scooby-Doo project since 2010. I can't see any reason why they'd stop using him as long as his voice holds out, to be honest. He's really good, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then finally, after the not exactly original twist that magic is real, monsters are real, the movie goes for another surprise with a reveal of its true villain, and I don't think it works. First of all, I don't think it works because the film simply doesn't do anything to really foreshadow it or suggest that it might even be an option. A twist that comes out of left field because you've done nothing to set it up as a possibility is much less effective than a twist that comes out of left field because it makes perfect sense, and how did I not see it? And that's the issue here. They don't do anything to kind of establish it as even a possibility. Secondly, I don't think it works because it presupposes the audience has a particular opinion about Scooby-Doo, the show and the characters. It simply isn't going to be true for everybody watching it. Certainly it wasn't true for me, and I did a little online research, and it appears that it went over very poorly with younger members of the film's audience. The people you want to love your movie because they're the ones who will nag their parents to take them to see the sequels and buy the toys. And third and finally, it does double down on the movie's assumption that everybody watching is already familiar with all the details of the Scooby-Doo franchise. I think it's basically a blunder from end to end. And while the man responsible, who was James Gunn, apparently, he of Guardians of the Galaxy directing fame, was still defending it as funny a couple of years after the film came out. It's obvious that the joke misfired for a lot of people. It doesn't work for a lot of people. I do think it doesn't, to me, it doesn't work. You may feel differently. I'm not going to spoil exactly what it is, though you may be able to guess, or you may have seen the film, obviously. But yeah, I don't think it quite works. And was a misstep. So that's Scooby-Doo from 2002. I will at some point talk about the sequel, but that won't be next time. Instead, next time we're going back to the Puppet Master franchise. Puppet Master 4 and 5, which were intended when they were conceived as the grand finale of the Puppet Master story. It didn't actually work out that way, of course, but it honestly may have been better if it did. Still, that's for next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time for Puppet Master 4 and 5.